I let her stay outside during the day for a couple hours, you know. And since we had some rain, there are a couple areas in the yard where it was kind of muddy, and she did what dogs do, start digging holes. Well, the thing is, she dug in there and that's mud now, and she got the mud all over herself, all over her ears. I just posted her ears a couple of days ago. I usually keep them up anywhere from 3 to 5 days. I had to repost her. At first, I had to give her a bath on my lunch break. That's my time. So, you
No,
know,
that's the baby time.
She in detention right now.
Say, don't nobody put baby in detention. Johnny, quick, what's popping with you, bro?
Nothing much. I'm just chilling, trying to prepare to be out of town like the rest of you, and nursing a knee. But outside of that, I'm okay.
You going out of town? Where you headed?
I'm going to Memphis.
You know what?
Sucky now.
Yeah, the last Southern Heritage Classic as we know it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We need to put him in touch with Steve. Because you know Steve and Angie gonna be there.
Yeah, they probably gonna be down there kicking it. We got a partner just moved down that way, so yeah, we had to give you that contact. Good people, man, extremely good people. So we had to turn you on. Don't be down there doing nothing I wouldn't do.
Well, that's kind of limit.
See.
That leaves a lot of options.
Right.
See, you know what? As the moderator,
now he might go to jail. Doing what you would do.
How many of us on this call have been to jail? I haven't.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, that's what I thought. JP Craddock, how you doing today, bro? How you doing today, bro?
Ouch.
Yeah. How you doing today? And he was not in there giving therapy. I can tell y'all that. That's all I can say.
We gonna keep it moving.
Yeah, we almost had to sue Akon because that "I'm Locked Up" song that was Gerald singing in the cell. How you doing today, JP Craddock?
Oh man, I am good. I'm in Tennessee, Murfreesboro, suburb of Nashville, and
you ain't in jail, are you?
As soon as we get done, I'm driving 9 hours back to KC. So. Yeah.
Why y'all driving so late?
We always leave. Time. We don't plan to leave late. It just always turns into 11 midnight.
Okay, so let's go ahead and address this real quick since you went down that path and it was an opening for us. So
I walked right into something.
Right. Y'all just happened to leave late, right?
Yes.
You late to every damn thing you do, dog.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Now I know you go
late for this podcast. Never.
What?
Oh, I'm glad he's never late for this podcast.
He's
far away from Texas. Okay. I can't get no lightning. I can't get none of that.
Okay.
Y'all know it's the truth. I'm never late for this podcast. Never late for my radio show. I'll be on it. I don't know about your radio.
You know what? I would actually ask you to define late, but we really don't have time for all that tonight. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into our topic.
And plus, he gonna blame Sasha for this lateness and him going back home.
Yeah,
so that's the blame.
Listen, I can't wait till Sasha get old enough to understand shit because I'm gonna tell her. Your daddy
been lying on
you. He's been lying on you for years. Your daddy been lying on you for years.
Years.
He don't really love you. Come over here and talk to
everything.
Yeah, he been lying on you for years, baby.
It has something to do with you.
So, baby, your daddy been lying on you for years. I mean, he buy you nice shit, but he been lying on you for years. All and right, let's go ahead and get into the topic.
He love you.
Yeah,
he love you, but
I don't know if he like her because he lie on her so much. But hey, whatever. We gonna go ahead and jump in the topic before he start lying on the baby again.
Oh.
So check this out, man. I know normally we do a good, bad, and ridiculous, but I want to switch it up tonight. And I just want to jump into the topic. And the reason I'm doing that is because we've had a lot of conversation and there have been sexual innuendos and stuff like that. So I want to have a question. I want to ask a question And I just want us to kind of dig in, and we're gonna go in different directions because I got some sub questions. Y'all know me, I like to dig in y'all business. So the topic is, what is the impact of sex on relationships, and specifically new relationships? We all know it has a impact on relationship throughout the duration of a relationship, but I kind of want to go with, what is the impact of sex on new relationships? We all got the question. All right. So JP, I'm gonna swing to you first. And we're gonna ask you to, do your thing as far as delving into the personal and clinical and all that. And when I get tired of hearing you drown on, or when I hear you start lying about Sasha made you do it, we'll cut you off and go to somebody else. So, JP, what is the impact of sex on relationships, and specifically new relationships?
I do not think it has an impact unless
Oh shit.
the two people in the couple are not on the same page. They are not, as they say in the black church, evenly yoked. Here's what I mean by that. If both people have the same approach or views on sex and sexuality, there's no problem. And so if you have two people who view sex as, hey, this is an activity, this is fun, this is like any other thing that I enjoy doing, this is not something that requires love to be in place as a foundation, it's just something that we do. If both people are on the same page, yes, they might have sex the first night, the first date.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
And that's okay because they're on the same page. Sex becomes a problem when you have two people who have two different approaches and two different ideas on sex and sexuality. You have one who feels like, well, this is something that comes into play after we have been in a relationship and we began to develop feelings, and it is an expression of our love for each other. It's intimacy. And then you have another person who's like, it's just screwing for me. Like, I don't necessarily agree. They will then have conflicts because one is going to be ready to have sex and the other is going to want to wait. And then they're going to feel like, okay, you're pressuring me, and all of that unfolds. Okay. So what I always encourage people to do is date people who are like-minded people. If you know what your views on sex and sexuality are, date people who have those same views. One with opposite views, and you're going to have a problem.
So I want to swing to LV, and I want to build on what JP was talking about. Can you hear me, LV?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Gerald is talking about being equally yoked, right? And I agree with that. The problem that I'm seeing, and it's something that we've talked about in previous conversations, where we said that people are dating people's representatives. So do you actually know if you're evenly yoked if you move into the sexual relationship too early?
That's the question for me.
Yeah, I'm throwing that your way.
Okay. Ain't no way you can know that you're equally yoked unless, before having sex, unless y'all almost do the Steve Harvey 90-day bullshit, So I can't say it'll ruin it, but if one person, let's see, how can I put this? If one person is able to finesse another person into maybe changing their previous, thought patterns as far as sex and a relationship, it has to wait or does it come first? Me personally, I believe in letting things just happen naturally. When you try to set a time frame for something, that's not something. A relationship and also sex, you can't put a time frame on it. I can understand if y'all married and y'all both got jobs. Yeah, y'all might get a calendar and have to pencil in when y'all can get it in, But just for the average person you meet, if you have that animal magnetism with, then y'all got that connection. You need to have a condom, definitely. because you can't just doesn't look good on. What did my mom used to say? She said everything on the outside look good, but it's that inside. When she spread them legs and it's like rotten eggs, you know. You know my mama,
Dog. You know what?
The one thing from doing something with a girl, boy. But
I need to get a mute button for your ass. I gotta
be put on delay now. Y'all need a 5-second delay from me.
Yeah, because we never know what your ass is gonna say. John, man.
But seriously, I mean, the equally yoked thing, and as far as how fast you have sex, I mean, I can't say it plays a major part. I will say that maybe a couple that find out that they're equally yoked before they have sex, maybe that relationship has a stronger chance of lasting versus somebody that may, hey, I mean, I've only had 2 one-night stands in my life. I'm 52 years old. So how that rolls, I don't know how that rolls. So, but we'll say that
everybody's coughing on that.
But y'all can cough all you want to. I'm glad y'all think so highly of me, though. Wow. But I
don't know what you do.
But from my personal experience, I will say that in some cases where sex has come early in the so-called relationship or situationship, some of the times when it came early, that was a real short-term situationship relationship type thing. I can't say that.
Dude, you need to be on somebody's yard teaching class. I've never even heard of situationships. Johnny, quick, man, I'm gonna swing to you real quick.
Yeah, so situationships came out after you got married.
Yeah. Hold up, John. I want
too much credit. Y'all give me far too much credit, but thank you.
I need to twist it up with you a little bit, Johnny, quick. So Laveria brought up something that's interesting, and it kind of builds on what Gerald was saying. So he brought up the whole think like a man 90-day, period that was in the book. Gerald just kind of said, if you're equally yoked, it's okay if y'all screwing on the first night. All right. So we got 2 extremes, I guess you could say. Not necessarily extremes, but 2 pendulums. So where do you fall, man? As far as, can you set a date and say, not necessarily say we gonna do it in 90 days, but we won't do it before 90 days? Or are you cool and saying, well, I can figure out at the club if I'm equally yoked with somebody through conversation? Where do you fall on that 90-day or setting some time period versus I met you tonight, the vibe is right, let's get it in?
Well, first of all, I'm going to acknowledge a couple of comments that were mentioned. Someone disagreed with JP, and then another person said 90 days is not long enough. Now, I'm going to come from this angle because we said sex, but I'm going to look at it from this way. Because it has
Hold
to
on,
be
real quick before you go into it. We said sex, and you're not going to give us some bullshit, are you? It's going to be real talk.
It's going to be real talk.
Okay, I just need to check. I need to check what face I need to put on. All right, back to you.
I like you keeping him honest.
Back to you.
They coming for you, Johnny.
I see that.
For you.
But what I was going to say Johnny, is, it's that evenly yoked. But see, there's a difference between sex and making love. And see, you can have sex on the first night, and it could be you can figure out this person's evenly yoked. But let me get my point out.
Why are we in court and he's objecting and holding his head?
Hold up, dog. Right, Sir in Pink, Mr. Sir Pink a lot. Write your objection down. We're going to let Johnny Quick finish his statement before you start objecting.
Right.
Johnny Quick, it's back to you.
No, because I just got one thing is at the beginning, and I'm going to get it in. making love and sex those are one and the same. Okay, when you making love, that is still sex, and that's all I gotta say. Back to you, Johnny.
Well. The technicality of the matter, you are correct. But see, when you get that evenly yoked and you have emotional feelings involved, and you know how to hit those buttons, hit those triggers, get to that mind, and make love to that body in their mind before you actually have the physical sex. So there's a transition between sex and making love. And so when you come to that
Oh
evenly
shit!
yoked,
I'm over here snapping. I'm over here snapping. That was
Right,
so when
because
poetry.
he's talking about instead of just fucking and then mind fucking and then making love.
He went over the limit. That's why I need a mute button. Back to you, John. Finish that up, man.
and so when you actually look at it that way, yeah, you can have sex on the first night, but the chance of that leading to somewhere is pretty slim. You can wait 90 days and not really know the person and be intimate and know those little things that can turn them on, turn them off, and you just set a time frame and say, okay, it's 90 days, let's do it. And it hasn't really been a good build up. But you could do that little flirtation, that little touch in here, that little nibble there, this little this, that, and other that can lead up to the moment, and it can naturally take place. It could take place in a month, it could take place in 90 days, but you kind of have that vibe where, oh yeah, we're connected. And sometimes you can the first sexual experience, because you just waiting to have sex, tends not to be a good one. But if you kind of build it up and have those little child role plays, little different things like that, you can have that love setting all night type of situation versus let's go and hit it and quit and see if we connect.
Okay, so and this is interesting for me because I thought about a saying, and it's kind of foul. So I want to prep y'all before I say it to you. So say that you don't know if you're equally yoked with somebody because you've moved into this sexual relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then as men, we have a tendency to say, oh, she crazy now, right? She crazy, she tripping. When a lot of times she's not necessarily crazy. You just didn't know who you were sleeping with, right? So let me ask you, I'm gonna make a statement, and this statement is gonna be foul. And I'm telling y'all that up front. But I want you all to comment and tell me what this statement says to you in light of how many men be talking about, oh, she crazy, I need to move on. What if it's addicted to what the dick did? JP, comment on that, please.
And she's acting crazy as a result of becoming addicted.
And see, and I don't know if she's acting crazy or did we just not know her?
Well, it sounds like you're asking, okay, if he turned her out
Mm-hmm.
and she's addicted, and maybe acting a little crazy, but him not knowing who he was having sex with, that goes back to what I was saying, is that this is the information that people need to have before they start having sex with somebody. You can't be screwing somebody and you don't know what their ideas and their beliefs and their practices are when it comes to sex. You should not find yourself shocked and surprised like, oh my God, she's crazy and she's this and she's that and da-da-da-da. You didn't take the time to get to know her well enough to figure out if you should be screwing her in the first place. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And I agree with that.
Agree with what you're saying, that as men, we have to accept some responsibility for finding ourselves in situations where we are saying, oh, hell, she's crazy. And I think we all have been in that situation. We all have some crazy ass. Oh, Johnny Quick does not have a crazy ex. Okay. I know you
because they are can't say that shit.
How are you gonna try to disrespect any of my former ladies? Now I didn't have no crazy like that. I mean, now I personally.
No, we said Johnny Quick. We said Johnny Quick. We weren't talking about you.
But he said both. He said he know both you two. He said I know you two got crazy exes. talking about me and you.
Okay, let me speak for myself.
Well, he knows some of my exes. So.
I have been in that position. Okay.
Me too.
And
That's what.
when you find yourself in that position, it is because you failed to properly assess for crazy prior to that.
I don't know, Gerald.
It's about assessing the personality.
Well,
I
you know
don't
what?
know.
I'm gonna chime in on this. I'm gonna chime in because see, the rest of you, the prime one who I really want to talk about disappeared for a second. But y'all always tell me I need to move a little bit quicker, and I'm like, no, I'm looking for these red flags. I'm trying to assess different people. Oh, all of them got a little craziness in them. It's just high level of crazy. I'm like, yeah, but I know the levels I can deal with, or willing to deal with, so I can process these look through these red flags. Will I catch them all? No, but I kind of limited because when the question he said, was it, and I don't know how he said because I don't use this language, but is she addicted to the dick or something like that? Well,
it sure rolled off your tongue easy.
It sure did.
And
But
we
to use it, it showed your
That's
tongue
not
pretty
what we
easy.
said. We never said to move faster. What we were saying, because the particular person we was talking about, you have known for a while. What we were saying is, if you weeding everybody out as crazy, then there's something wrong with that. And what Coleman was saying is, well, they all got a little bit of crazy in them. So if you looking for somebody who has absolutely no crazy, you're gonna come up short.
She ain't
like
there.
I said,
But we weren't saying move fast.
I'm reducing that crazy level.
Okay.
Listen, let's turn a little bit. Let's turn a little bit, right? Because we didn't got on this crazy thing, and I really don't want to get on that thing too. We can talk about people being crazy, but a lot of times, in my experience, most of the time when they crazy came out, it came out in reaction to something that I so provided the opportunity for them to be crazy, or if I drove them to the point where they felt compelled to be crazy because of what my actions were. So I don't really know about that. But let me ask you this. Talked a lot about sex, and Liberio LV said early on, if you go into a sexual relationship fast, you need to use condoms, which I'm in total agreement with. So, but what we haven't talked about is, when do we make that decision to get rid of condoms? So how do you make this decision to be like, you know what, I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna birth this one. I'm going how I was born. That's what I'm gonna bring into the bedroom. How do you make a decision to get rid of condoms in a sexual relationship, regardless of it's a situation relationship? How do you make a decision? All right, I'm ready to be a little free, or is it just we had too much to drink tonight and I made a mistake? So
It's the level of responsibility you're willing to take, because even though you may both gone and got tested, you have to also look at kids being a factor. Are you ready to have kids with this person? What are the factors that are involved for making that decision? Because it could be, well, in my case, I won't be too drunk, so that won't be my case. But
you drinking that dirty water.
but it has to be a mutual agreement. But you have to look at all the risks that are involved, not just sexual transmitted disease, the risk of having a child and different things like that.
Well, what I would suggest, first, you all need to go get tested. Then you need to discuss whether or not what is going to be the form of birth control. Because, the pull-out method, it works sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't. So that's if you guys know you're gonna be in this sexual relationship, you need to have that conversation about protection and talk about, hey, I don't want no kids, you don't want no kids. You got 4, I got 3. We don't need no more. We ain't trying to be the Brady Bunch up in this kid. No thank you. So I mean, that's where you have to be.
We told you last week. I thought we told you last week that the pull-out method does not work.
We made it clear that it does not work. The views of LB are not the views of the alpha male perspective.
I mean, it
We
is
think
not
our
why-
views are not encouraging the
It's
pull-out
not the
method.
best
We're
method
not.
of both bro, by any means.
Oh,
You say what?
okay,
I
You
think
say
let's,
what?
let's look at it this way.
You said it works.
didn't say it was
Look, let's go with this.
time.
Let's condom,
Now,
birth
if you
control,
wanna roll the
pull
dice,
out.
if
Pull
you
out's
wanna
at the
roll the
very
dice,
bottom.
Hey, hold on now. Hold on, bro. We getting a little passionate about this topic, so we talking over each other a little bit. So, Mr. Pullout, what was you saying?
Hey, it's all about if you're gonna take that gamble. I mean, it sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. If you feeling hot, you grabbing them dice. Ooh, don't need no baby. Ooh, 7, 8. I'm feeling hot, baby. I'm hot. Oh, 0.6. Oh, okay. 6, 8. Oh, 8, 6, 8 running base. And then sometimes you crap out, and then you stuck for a lifetime. So I mean, hey, that's not a risk you should take. It is not.
John, you rolling them dice, dog? What
No.
does it take to get you? What does it take you to put them dice on the table?
With certainty that I'm willing to raise a kid for 18 years, and I'm sure that this person I'm dealing with is not going to be me and however many people she's dealing with. It's because yeah, you can go get tested, but if y'all not serious and you know for sure that this person is going to be one-on-one, you run a lot of risk. So it's definitely
Okay,
a
so
conversation that's gonna have.
Rihanna sit there and she straddle you. She tell you
And
she
then
allergic to latex and she don't like condoms.
we'll find another form of condom.
Yeah,
You gonna tell Rihanna that?
Lambskin.
You gonna
Yes.
tell?
There is another option.
Yes.
He does not have to go having unprotected sex with Rihanna because she's allergic to latex. Get them lambskin condoms.
She say she don't like none. She can afford to take care of the child now. That's 18 years. You get a shot.
I want to respond to this whole condom thing. I think that a couple needs to have open discussions about this before tossing out the condoms. And for men to think about is when you toss out the condoms, do not toss out the condoms with any woman that you cannot imagine having a child with and raising that child with that woman for 18 years. That's what you need to think about before you go tossing out condoms. Okay.
Absolutely.
That it needs to be a discussion, ongoing discussions, and both people agreeing, not some oops, oh, what did we do? And then here come a baby 9 months later, and it's like, I don't even like this chick. That's absurd.
And the funny part, thanks for picking up, man. Y'all know I'm out in Spokane working, so I'm on my sales. So sometimes I drop off the program. So I appreciate y'all picking that up and giving me grace and letting me host the show this evening. And I was gonna get to Leslie, but y'all was talking about something and I want to kind of hit on that. Leslie was texting about monogamy and monogamy being a part of that relationship. And basically, if you're not gonna be monogamous, you need to condom up. But as a young man, I'm 52 now, so hopefully I won't make stupid decisions, but I'm married, so it really don't matter. But as a young man, I know I would put my heartbeat, and I never made a conscious decision and walk my way through the process. When is it time to stop? When is it time to stop wearing condoms versus when I wanted to wear them? And I would tell you, anybody who ever goes without a condom will have a hard time going back to a condom. It's two different feelings and sensations. So if we had mothers on here and they were having this conversation with their sons, what ammunition can we give them And I need us to be brief on this because I got another piece of this conversation I want to hit on. But what ammunition can we give young brothers in saying, man, this is a real decision? And not just the financial piece, because we talked about it costing $300,000, to raise a kid, and we're saying that's on the light side. But what tangible conversation can we have? And JP, this may be a one-hitter quitter. We may swing this to you and you sum it up and we move on to my next question. But what ammunition can we give those mothers in having that conversation, not just with young black males, but with young males, so that we can have children who are in homes being raised and being brought up in a way that we all think would benefit them the most? And I don't mean necessarily two parent, but how do we make sure that how do we give that information so that we give them that ammunition to help their sons?
Yeah, teaching kids about healthy sexuality requires parents to present a whole picture, a holistic picture when it comes to sex and sexuality, which means it's more than just, ooh, this feels good, ooh, this is fun.
It's more than that.
There's more to it than that. And
Okay.
what adolescent males need to be in touch with, because adolescent males are in touch with just that part. It feels good, it's fun, this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna do. For parents having that conversation about healthy sexuality, they need to talk about, like I was saying before, the whole evenly yoked. Like, what is the emotional connection? Are you a person that needs to have an emotional connection, and is this person you want to have sex with, are they on the same page? And then also having conversations about, hey, it is selfish for you to go into sex recklessly. Okay, and I'm talking about tossing condoms out the window, because a child does not ask to be born and a child does not get to choose their parents. And so you have to look beyond. This is where the big picture comes in. You have to look beyond just your own selfish desires in that moment and think about the fact that if you get this young lady pregnant, you are impacting the life of a child. You and her will be responsible for raising a child. As those years go by and you think back to that night where you was just trying to get your freak on, it's going to seem much, much less important as time goes by. Raising a child is a life altering experience. And so I always encourage parents to talk to kids about the whole picture and everything that sex involves. It's so much more to it than, ooh, this feels good, I'm getting my freak on. And you have to look at all that when it comes to everything from STDs, because I am seeing a drastically increase in young professionals who have herpes, and they are struggling to find someone to date, enter into relationships with, and get married to, because as soon as they drop the herpes bomb, it's over. And I'm talking about young, educated professionals. It's
Hmm.
astounding. We're under like a herpes epidemic. It is astounding how many clients I'm getting in who are struggling with that. And so when I'm talking to the adolescents, I'm wanting them to see all of that, the whole picture, so that they can make a wise, educated decision. We can't put our young people out there to make decisions without providing them with the information that they need in order to make the best decision.
Yeah. So let me ask this one because I think you really summed that up. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to add to that?
Well, I just got one statement, and this is how you sum it up. A lifetime is a long time to live with a mistake.
Mm. And that's such an interesting saying, John, from the perspective of, and you're correct, right? But once the mistake becomes a baby and you're raising something that you created, love, nurture, it no longer feels like a mistake, right?
Right.
So it's kind of hard to talk to a young man or a woman who may at one point have been a mistake, but only felt love in the home that they grew up in
Mhm.
about making a mistake. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for you to talk to me about being a mistake when I'm raised in love.
Yeah, the word mistake in that saying should not apply to the child. It applies to the
Right.
co-parenting. Because yes, the child can be raised with love, but those two parents can hate each other throughout the whole 18 years and be in constant battle and war with each other.
Right.
And so yes, people will tell their kids, I love you. I'm
I'm
so happy
glad you're
you're
here.
here. I do not regret having you. But me and your mama or me and your daddy, we do not get along. And that's what ends up feeling like a mistake. And I encourage young people, if you're going to be bringing a child into the world, you need to be happy with more than just your child. You need to have a happy co-parenting experience also, if it is at all possible. No one wants to suffer through 18 years of fierce battling with the other parent.
Okay.
These battles get ugly.
Right. But I want us to also realize that kids can internalize language. And sometimes a child does not know how to distinguish themselves from the act.
Well, the word mistake should never be used in dialogue with a child. Period. No matter what aspect of it you are considering to be a mistake. Because as you have said, Coleman, we have to remember where they are cognitively and developmentally. They are going to immediately assign the word mistake to their presence. So that's
Right.
not terminology to use in conversation or within earshot of a child. That's internal dialogue. When you
And
feel internally like, okay, I made a mistake having a baby with this woman.
and let me say this. I know John didn't mean it in that way, but I wanted to make sure we talked about it, right?
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Because I was thinking not necessarily the child being a mistake, but also looking at diseases.
mhm,
And because we focus on kids being a part of the conversation, but we never look at, yeah, you've been tested, but if the person's not monogamous or honest about their relationship, you could contract something later on down the line like herpes or things of that nature. So that's where I was going with more of that
yeah,
vein.
yeah, and that's why I wanted to say I knew you didn't mean it that way, but since we heard the word mistake, I wanted to make sure we address that. And the other piece is, shit, getting tested for an STD, that ain't no joke. So let me ask y'all this: if I gave you all this analogy, how would you move on this? Women have sex for love, while men love for sex. How true is that statement in your opinion?
Very true under deceptive circumstances. And here's what I mean. Women oftentimes are raised to have sex in love. Males oftentimes are not raised to have sex in love. They're raised to basically have sex out of love, in love. It doesn't matter. And so when a woman is trying to hold to those virtues that, hey, I'm not going to share my body with anyone who does not love me and I do not love them. And so they think that the male that they have chosen is evenly yoked with them because he is being deceptive. His representative has shown up and he is professing love when he actually does not feel that. So, yes, that happens. And that deception is rooted in selfishness that, okay, I really ain't on the same page with her. I wish that she was a person who was sexually free and I didn't have to profess love to her, but I want her. She requires love. I'm going to lie and tell her that I love her so that we can have sex. And it's awful. It's awful to do that.
You know what?
If you tell them that you love them, yes, but a lot of men don't say I love you, but they display actions that would say I
Acts of
love
love.
Love
But you know what?
tendencies.
But you know what? I want to throw this out here, and what you're starting to see. There's a shift in the balance. You're starting to see more women who are having sex with no love or any connections or anything, and you
you.
see a lot
World is
more
changing.
men are getting connected
Let
with,
me
and
let
they
me
sitting out here stalking.
let me ask you a
Right.
question,
He's
John.
right.
John, let me
He's
ask you a
right.
question. Hold on before we go too far down that hole. Hold on right quick. So I told y'all before, like, back in college, I was a serial cheater. I used to chase women and get it in, right? Whether I
Mhm.
had a girlfriend or not, I was in them streets. I like the chase. I'm a hunter, right? And so people used to always say, you this, you that, you a dog, and everything like that, as if I was tricking the people that I was interacting with. I've never been in, I've never like cheated on someone without having a woman there. So how do we keep coming up with this saying that men are doing this, da da da, as if women aren't? Because every time I was in the streets, I was in the street with women, and one thing about me is I never lied. I always told somebody, yeah, I got a girlfriend, but I'm about this business. So if I never lied, I was doing, and I was always doing it with women when I was in the street. How do we keep coming back to this thing as if women are not as in the streets as aggressive with their sexual appetites as men are? How do we keep
They
falling
are.
there?
They
They
are.
are. They're just making it known a little bit more now.
Yeah. I mean, when you think
They was
about the
making it
amount
known
of
then.
well,
Certain
but
ones did,
well,
others
there's
went undercover.
there's a
Right.
lot more sexual freedom in these modern times. When you think about the amount of women who get on dating apps and go out and have one night stands, okay, there's a lot more sexual freedom, which goes back to what I was saying before. It's not a problem as long as the person that they are being free with is on the same page. But yeah, you're right that stereotypically it's like, okay, men are dogs and women are not. No, women are doing the same things that men are doing. I don't know if it's on the same level. I don't know if it's, but it's happening, and it's happening a lot because all those men that are having one night stands 4, 5 times a week through dating apps, they are doing it with women who are screwing them. So obviously it's not just a male
Right.
issue.
And see, the other
Right.
thing
And
is,
so this is a stereotype. This is a stereotype that I want to make sure that we look at. And I know we talked about stereotypes like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but this is a stereotype and that we've continued to perpetuate, especially within our community, these innocent victims, when in all actuality, we are decisions about what we will and will not do and put up with.
Hey, bro, restate what you said because it kind of
broke up.
broke up. Because I want to make sure they heard exactly what you
Okay, my
said.
fault.
The
Yeah, my fault.
stereotype.
I'm just saying we continue to perpetuate this stereotype within our community, like men are the only ones doing it, where in all actuality, men and women are cheating at the same rate. Unless you are in a homosexual relationship, you're cheating with women. So we're 100%. Every time we cheating, they cheating, or at least they're interacting with us in the process of having sex. So how do we continue to perpetuate this myth that men are dogs and men are cheating, when in all actuality, we out here with somebody?
What
It takes a long time for old stereotypes to die. It takes a long time. The first step, though, is acknowledging the truth and putting the truth out there.
So Leslie, I need you to text us about the truth. Um, I
ah,
know, we rolling up on time, but I want to throw this last one out, and this is a little bit more serious. And we've had a lot of fun with this topic this evening. I really enjoyed the conversation. And for anybody, from a guest perspective, if you have to leave, we understand. This is going to be on YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. You can always come back and check us out and watch it. But I want to throw this one out there, and JP, we're gonna go to you last on this. LV, I want to go to you first on this one. And the reason I'm coming to you first is because you always speak so highly of the women in your life, whether you're talking about your mom, your sister, or the women that you're involved with. Um, So I want to come to you first on this one.
Okay.
What is our role in protecting women's psychological and sexual health? What is our role as men in protecting women's psychological and sexual health?
Now you see, you have to narrow that down a little bit further. Now you talking about
Now,
women.
I want you to
I
narrow
mean,
it down for whatever fits what you're
mean,
thinking.
it's it may be somewhat hypocritical, but with a female member of your family or somebody that you're close to, you're gonna. I mean, I know I do. I mean, I let them know of possibilities of some maybe untruths of what may be said to them by any particular man. Because not that I do it anymore, but in my past, you know, I gave love to get sex. Yeah, I didn't really care about it, but hey, that's what you need. That's what I want. So to me, it was a barter system. Service and goods.
The barter system.
But as far as like for emotionally, you have to let them know the possibilities of the downfalls as well as the highs, and then you have to help them weed in between there and define an even keel. And I mean, you need to really see that somebody is whatever they're saying is actually, even sometimes actions. Because if you're not the only one, even though those actions, that should tell you right there. Yeah, they doing this for you because you giving them something, but they don't really want to be with you obviously at that time because maybe they are doing that with other people as well. The sexual well-being, as far as I'm all about protection and like I said, get tested and use condoms because you don't need to be making no babies. We got enough babies, make a baby with somebody that is really almost planned. That's what's ideal, even though that shit ain't gonna happen. But I would say you don't need to have so much sex. Only have sex with somebody
so much
you care about. You don't. Hey, for the young men, I know they say, "Oh, it's another notch on the bedpost." That ain't cool either. That ain't all it's cracked up to be. It's not.
Yeah. But it took me a minute as a man to get away from the whole notch system.
Right. You have to know your wealth, know your worth, know what it's worth, the value of your D. Okay. Did y'all see how I kept that clean? He ain't gonna give me no credit.
You worked, bro. You worked on it. I'm the.
But know your worth. But know your worth as well. Don't be out here on the corner just slanging it to any and everybody. Because at some point you may meet a woman that you really want to be with, just like a lot of men don't want to be with a woman they say got a lot of miles on them. A real woman don't want a man with a lot of miles on him either. She don't want to walk in a room and every woman be like, "Ooh, I know what that mouth do." That's embarrassing to her, just like it would be for a man.
You know what? He said mouth. Johnny, quick, we're going to go ahead and roll to you with this question. What is our role as men in protecting women's psychological and sexual health? He said mouth. He didn't. Yeah. Boy, John, you know.
I'm going to start with LV because he holds ladies to the highest esteem. I'm like, where am I? But anyway, I'm going to talk about that. For me, is I tell ladies, I'm not the average guy. I'm very unique because as far as protecting them, it's not what you do in front of them. It's what you do when they're not around. One thing women know, ladies know, I don't call women outside of their name. I don't call them bees. I don't call them this. I treat them as lovely ladies. Some of them are queens. Some of them are princesses. But I don't call them outside of their name. The other thing is one thing my mother told me growing up. She's like, if I catch you abusing a lady or anything, I will personally kill you. So that kind of stuck with me. So I treat women with the utmost respect. and that means professionally, that means relationship wise. And matter of fact, what this is not one of those proud stories, but I don't care about how people view me or think of me. But one of our viewers, a few of our viewers know this situation. One of our mutual friends was getting married. They called me to their bachelorette party because they knew I would make sure they were nice and safe and taken care of. I'm like, what guy gets invited to a bachelorette party with 20 plus females? But that's a different story. Um, but
Pimping since pimping since pimping since
but
pimping
ex
since pimping.
and the sexual protection is I'm not going to entertain the sexual aspect of a relationship if I don't know that you're mentally there, because as y'all like to say, I play mind games with people. I don't play mind games. I'm just a gentleman 24/7. If you see in me something you never see in someone else, then all of a sudden you develop relationships over that because it's like he's genuine. He makes sure this is done. He handles business. Because one of the things I tell any lady, no matter the situation, if I tell you I got this, you can rest assured and be secure in the fact I got this covered. No matter if it's a situation that's going to go down sexually or whatever the case may be, I got this, and I give them security. And that's how I make sure they're protected.
And one of the things I can say is, the beauty of our brotherhood is when I say something about Laverio or LV and say, yo, you hold women in the highest esteem. It says nothing about Johnny Quick and the grown men experience and what we know you bring to the table. Non-drinker, emotionally secure. We know what you bring and what you do. So me saying LV does this does not necessarily mean that you don't. Because once
Oh no,
again,
I know,
I
I
know
know.
I know the level that which you perform. So we have a lot of fun and joke and and do all these things and be talking about you drinking and all that. But in all seriousness, when we bring it back to the issues, when we bring it back to how you perform and who you are, everybody in Kansas City knows you. That's why I feel comfortable joking with you in that manner. Um, JP, now I'm almost feeling like I don't need to ask you this question because you are married, and um, we all know that if you try to disrespect your wife, she's gonna beat you. So. Um, do we need to really talk to you about what is our role in protecting the psychological, and then plus she's a therapist, the psychological and sexual health of the women in our orbit?
Now mentally.
Yeah, here's here's what I think are the necessary steps in doing that is when it comes to the women that you are in relationships with, that you're dating, that you take the time to get to know where they are emotionally, as far as their emotional health, their morals, their values, their beliefs, when it comes to relationships, intimacy, sexual intimacy. If you honor and respect them on that emotional level, you are automatically going to also be respecting them on the sexual intimacy level. The goal is to never walk away from any relationship feeling like you pressured a woman or played a role in her feeling like she compromised herself when it comes to her morals and her values. And really, a lot of that starts within us being able to look at ourselves in the mirror and know that we handled ourselves with a level of integrity and morality, um, a level of sensitivity and empathy. If you focus on going through life trying to live your life right, you will not have to worry about having a negative impact in the life of someone else and them feeling like you took advantage of them on an emotional level or on a sexual level. And so for me, it was always about what am I willing to do? Who am I willing to be, regardless of what the woman may or may not have been willing to do or not to do, but what do I feel comfortable? Because here's something for men to think about is there are a lot of women out there who have unhealthy sexuality stemming from a history of sexual abuse. And when a man encounters a woman who has some unhealthy sexuality, it may be in the form of promiscuity or something along the line of that. If you are knowledgeable of that, okay, because when we're younger and you're a teenager, you're not really knowledgeable about that. Everybody knows, like, every high school had the girls that, you know, well, she's hoeing, and nobody knew, like, okay, where did that unhealthy sexuality come from? Was there some childhood sexual abuse? But once you mature and you're an adult and you encounter someone who is exhibiting some unhealthy sexuality, and you know it stems from a history of sexual trauma and different things like that, you have to be willing to be in touch with your own morality to not take advantage of their unhealthy sexuality or their emotional vulnerability. So that's what I'm saying, is that it starts with us. And who are you willing to be? If you're willing to be the best person that you are supposed to be, you will not have to worry about taking advantage of some woman emotionally or sexually.
You know what? I think that wraps it up
Well said.
perfectly. We've been an hour into it. It was supposed to be a 45-minute show, and I appreciate all those people who remained and engaged in this conversation with us. I want to talk to my brothers and say, I appreciate something that Gerald or JP said. I appreciate you all being vulnerable and putting yourselves out there to have this type of conversation. So thank you all. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I love you, brothers. Peace out.
Love you,
Holla
Mike.
at y'all later.
Like, share, subscribe.
There you go.